Hello students, A2 Chemistry, chapter is Electrochemistry, lecture number 4. In this lecture we are going to discuss about standard electrode potential, some more detail about standard electrode potential, and we shall also start some applications of standard electrode potential. But first of all, let me give you definition of standard electrode potential. One definition I gave you in the previous lectures. Now I'm going to tell you that definition again, and then I will give you a second definition for the standard electrode potential. Now one definition that you can remember: standard electrode potential is the voltage produced by an electrode under standard condition. It is the voltage produced by a half cell under standard conditions. Now you must remember standard electrode potential, its symbol is E naught, and the unit in which standard electrode potential it is expressed, it is volts. Now as you can see, standard electrode potential is the voltage, so that is why standard electrode potential, it is always determined by using an instrument. That instrument is known as high resistance voltmeter. This instrument is used to determine standard electrode potential of any element. Now what we do whenever we want to determine standard electrode potential, as there are two terminals of the voltmeter, one terminal is connected to standard hydrogen electrode. Standard hydrogen electrode, why it is used? Because standard hydrogen half cell, it is used for reference purposes. It is used as a reference electrode. What does this mean? It means that the potential of this half cell we have taken equal to 0 volt. So whenever we connect voltmeter to two half cells, one half cell is that of standard hydrogen half cell. The deflection shown by the voltmeter, it is the potential of the other element. Since potential of one of the half cell, that is standard hydrogen half cell, it is taken as 0 volt. Now what we do, on one terminal of the voltmeter we connect standard hydrogen electrode, and to the other terminal we connect half cell of any element whose standard electrode potential we want to determine. What happens when this circuit is completed? Voltmeter can give us some reading, and that reading is the standard electrode potential of the element. Now whenever we determine standard electrode potential by using this method, now you can give a second definition. You can remember a second definition for standard electrode potential. And now what you can remember, you can say standard electrode potential is the potential difference between standard hydrogen half cell and half cell of another element under standard conditions. So this is another definition that you can remember, that it is the potential difference between standard hydrogen half cell and half cell of another element under standard conditions. Now whenever we determine this standard electrode potential, it is denoted by E naught, and the numerical value of E naught, in some cases it is positive and in other cases it is negative, but always the unit of standard electrode potential, it is volts. Now what does this negative or positive sign it indicates in the value of standard electrode potential? You must remember this positive or negative sign, it indicates the charge on that cell with respect to standard hydrogen electrode. Why this charge can be positive or negative, I will explain. But before that, what will be the numerical value f, numerical value x? This numerical value x is the deflection shown by the voltmeter. It is the numerical value. This is the reading that is provided by the voltmeter as a potential difference. Now why this numerical value can be negative or positive? It depends on the nature of other element that was connected to standard hydrogen half cell. How is that? If suppose E naught value of an element is negative, what does this mean? It means when we connected that element to standard hydrogen half cell, that element would have undergone oxidation, because oxidation takes place at anode, and anode carries negative charge in a voltaic or electrochemical cell. So whenever E naught value you see standard electrode potential of an element is negative, what you must remember, that element when connected to standard hydrogen half cell would have become anode and it would have undergone oxidation. This is the property, this is the feature of which type of element they can become anode when connected to standard hydrogen half cell. You can remember this is the property of reactive metals. So reactive metals, whenever they are connected to standard hydrogen half cell, they always undergo oxidation. They prefer to lose electron and they become anode, getting negative charge on their half cell. Compared to this, if ever you see standard electrode potential value for an element positive, now if it is positive, what does that mean? Now you can guess easily, that element would have become cathode. Why that element would have become cathode? Because it would undergo reduction compared to standard hydrogen half cell. Now this is the feature of this, which type of element can become cathode relative to hydrogen. There can be two types of elements. One type of element can be either less reactive metal or non-metals. Whenever we are having a less reactive metal or a non-metal, then that half cell would become cathode and it would get positive charge, supporting reduction. Now this is one important information that you must remember about standard electrode potential after definition, that standard electrode potential of an element may be negative or it may be positive. It can be negative or positive depending on the nature of the other element that we connected with standard hydrogen half cell. Next thing that you must remember, that if you have been given some examples and you are asked to give some predictions, keeping in your mind the this relationship that I have told you for negative or positive E naught value, you can guess. For example, look at this example that I am telling you. In this example, two elements, I have not given you the exact identity of these two elements, but if you look at, one is element A, whose electrode potential is minus 0.76, and other element whose electrode potential is minus 0.44. So one thing for sure, you must be able to predict that both of these elements are metals. Why metals? Because their standard electrode potential is negative. This is one thing that you can predict. Other thing that you must be able to predict, that which one of these two metal would be more reactive and which one would be less reactive comparatively. Now how you can come to know that? Simply look at the numerical value, look at the magnitude of standard electrode potential value. The element whose standard electrode potential, whose voltage is greater, that element would be more reactive metal. So what does this mean in this case? Which metal would be more reactive? In this case, metal A would be more reactive because it has produced more voltage. It has produced a voltage of 0.76 compared to the other metal that has produced only 0.44 volts. So whenever a metal can produce more voltage, it means it is reactive metal. Next example, if I give you, you can see now two elements, not again their exact identity is available. Element A, its standard electrode potential is positive 0.54 and the standard electrode potential of element B is positive 1.36. Now again, I'm sure you people would have become able to predict exactly what is the nature of these elements and which one of these two is more reactive. So what is the nature of these elements? Both of these are non-metals. Obviously they can be less reactive metal, but for the time being I'm ignoring that fact. I'm just assuming they are non-metals. And which one of these two non-metal would be more reactive? The one that has produced more voltage. Which non-metal has produced more voltage in this case? The non-metal B. So non-metal B is more reactive because you can say it has produced 1.36 volt during this process. So this is the this information you would have become able to predict about metals and non-metals if you know the sign of standard electrode potential. Next comes, no need to remember these numerical values of standard electrode potentials, as in your final exams these numerical values are available in your data booklet. You can find all these numerical values in the data booklet. But one thing that I want to tell you right now, if you have been given standard electrode potential values for different elements, if you look at your data booklet, what you will come to know, okay, I'm giving you this standard electrode potential for zinc half cell and for copper half cell. Now what you can notice, for zinc half cell, the standard electrode potential is minus 0.76 volt, and for copper half cell it is 0 plus 0.34 volt. Now what you can you can see from both these half cells, in both these half cells, in the forward direction, which reaction is shown. In both these half cells, in the forward direction, the process of reduction is being shown. What does this mean? Whenever standard electrode potentials are available to you, they are always available for the process of reduction. That is why standard electrode potential, sometimes commonly they can also be known as standard reduction potential. There is no reason except conventionally we are doing like this. So always remember, standard electrode potentials, they are standard reduction potential because they are shown, they are written for the process of reduction of an element. Now what does this mean? Now if you look at both these numerical values, you can see one numerical value is less than 0 if we just consider them mathematically. One is negative, other is positive. So you can see one numerical value is less than 0, other is greater than 0. The numerical value that is less than 0, what does this mean? That reduction, it needs some electrical energy, some input to be carried out. While that numerical value which is positive, it means that reduction process, it can occur and it can produce, it can give out some voltage, it can give some output. So whenever you have been given standard electrode potential, or you can call them standard reduction potential, now simply look at the sign of the standard reduction potential and you can guess which element can undergo reduction easily and which one will need some input of electrical energy, some input of voltage to be carried out. Right now look at the two half cells examples that I have given in front of you. You can see one is the half cell of zinc. Zinc can undergo reduction with difficulty. Why? Because it means zinc can be reduced if we provide a voltage of 0.76 volt. We will have to provide some input, and it is very true. Why? Because zinc is a reactive metal. Zinc will prefer to undergo oxidation, it will not prefer to undergo reduction. So that is why reduction of zinc is difficult. But compared to zinc, copper can undergo reduction easily because it is a less reactive metal and it will produce some voltage on its reduction. So this is how you must treat, and you must be able to gather information from standard electrode potential values of different half cells. Now next we are going to study what are the applications of standard electrode potentials. Now there are 5 different applications that can be asked in your A2 exams. I am going to give you a list of these applications first of all, then we will discuss them one by one. Now look at the first application. It is standard cell potential. How you can determine standard cell potential? By using standard reduction potential, that we will study in this lecture. Standard cell potential is denoted by E naught cell. Second application that we will also discuss in this lecture, with the help of standard reduction potential, you become able to predict the direction of flow of electron in a cell. Third application, we can decide about oxidizing and reducing agent using standard reduction potential. Fourth application, we can decide whether a reaction is feasible or not using standard reduction potential. And the last application, we will write on cell diagram using standard reduction potential. Okay, in this lecture for the time being we will discuss application number 1 and 2 only. Rest of the applications of standard electrode potential, they will be discussed in the subsequent lectures. Okay, first of all, how we can determine standard cell potential of a cell, E naught cell. Remember, cell potential of a cell can be determined by using two formulas. I will give you two different formulas. Why two different formulas? Because one formula will be for electrochemical for voltaic cell and other formula is for electrolytic cell. Because in one cell, you know, electrical energy is generated, is produced, and in other cell, in electrolytic cell, electrical energy voltage is consumed. So how you will come to know that? Let's look at the example. One formula that you can remember, standard cell potential is equal to standard reduction potential of cathode minus standard reduction potential of anode. And the other formula can be, you can just reverse the the first formula, the previous one. You can write down standard cell potential is equal to standard reduction potential of anode minus standard reduction potential of cathode. So these are the two formulas that we can use to determine to calculate standard cell potential for a cell. Now which formula is for which type of cell? Let's see. Okay, two half cells I am giving you for calculating standard cell potential for the cell. One half cell of the zinc, its standard reduction potential is negative 0.76 volt, and other is for half cell copper, its standard reduction potential is positive 0.34 volt. Okay, the question can be asked, calculate standard cell potential for this electrochemical cell, for this voltaic cell. 90% in your syllabus in your A2 question is asked for electrochemical cell, but sometimes you will see 1-2 questions they have also asked to calculate standard cell potential for electrolytic cell. So that is why I have told you both the formula. Okay, now I am telling you the first thing. First formula is used to calculate standard cell potential for electrochemical cell for voltaic cell. Why? Electrochemical cells are those cells which produce voltage. Electrolytic cells, they consume voltage. Whenever a cell will produce voltage, the standard cell potential would be positive. And if a cell is consuming voltage, the standard cell potential value would be negative. Let's see if we insert the values. But before that, how you will come to know which half cell will act as cathode and which half cell will act as anode. I am giving you a simple trick. This trick will help you whole of in whole of electrochemistry chapter. You must remember this trick. What is the trick? Look at both the half cells. Look at their standard reduction potential value. Always remember, whenever you have been given two half cells, the half cell whose standard reduction potential is greater mathematically, whose standard reduction potential is greater, that must always undergo reduction. This is the simple information that you can remember, and this trick will help you in whole of the electrochemistry chapter. The half cell having greater value, mathematically greater value for standard reduction potential must undergo reduction. Now look at both these half cell. Which numerical value is mathematically greater? For copper. So copper must undergo reduction. It must act as cathode. Red cat we studied in lecture number 1. So reduction always at cathode. When copper half cell is undergoing reduction, the zinc would have undergone oxidation. Zinc would act as anode. So now this is a simple trick that you can remember. Now you have decided cathode and anode. Now insert the values in the first formula. Reduction potential of cathode is plus 0.34 minus 0.76. If you calculate this, you will get an answer of plus 1.10 volt. The answer is positive. What does this mean? The first formula is used to calculate standard cell potential for electrochemical cell, for voltaic cell. If you insert values into the second formula, anode is minus 0.76 minus plus 0.34 is equal to minus 1.10 volt. It is negative. So it means this is electrolytic cell, because electrolytic cell they need some input, some voltage to carry out a chemical reaction. So remember, mostly in your A2 syllabus we will use the first formula. The first formula is to calculate standard cell potential for electrochemical cells, for voltaic or galvanic cell. And I have also told you how you will come to know how to decide cathode and anode. Now next thing comes, if you have decided which half cell is cathode and which half cell is anode, you can also tell quickly and easily what will be the direction of flow of electrons. Always remember, in chemistry, direction of flow of electron is from oxidation to reduction, from anode to cathode. What is the anode? Right now in this example that we are studying, zinc is the anode. So the direction of flow of electron would be from zinc half cell to copper half cell. So now you can see by using this example we have studied two applications of standard reduction potential. On the next slide, I am giving you two examples you people will solve, but remember, you will calculate standard cell potential for the electrochemical cell, for the voltaic cell. So obviously you will use formula number 1 to calculate standard cell potential. Okay, I am giving you the example. You can pause the video and you can solve it, and then later on you can check it out. Okay, the example I'm giving you, one half cell of iron Fe3 plus, it is undergoing reduction to become Fe2 plus. Standard reduction potential is plus 0.77 volt. And the other half cell we can take copper, its standard reduction potential is plus 0.34 volt. Okay, go for this, calculate standard cell potential for this electrochemical cell. Okay students, if you have done, just look at this. What should be its standard cell potential? Reduction potential of cathode minus reduction potential of anode. Since I asked to calculate standard cell potential for electrochemical cell, for voltaic cell, insert the value. Now which half cell would be the cathode and which one would be anode? I told you simply you will have to look at which half cell is having mathematically greater value of standard reduction potential. This time it is iron, so iron would be cathode where reduction will take place, and copper is the anode where oxidation will take place. So it would be plus 0.77 minus plus 0.34, it will give you plus 0.43 volts. And what will be the direction of flow of electron in this example? From your anode, from copper half cell to iron half cell. Okay, one more example, just give it a try. One half cell I am giving you of magnesium half cell, it has a standard reduction potential of minus 2.38. And zinc half cell, its standard reduction potential is minus 0.76. Okay, if you have done, now in this case, as I told you, how you will decide which one is cathode, which one is anode. The one that is having greater, mathematically greater numerical value, it would act as cathode where reduction will take place. Now which one of these two half cell is having greater value mathematically? Zinc. So zinc would act as cathode in this cell, and magnesium will act as anode. Formula, you will insert the value, cathode is zinc minus this is equal to plus 1.62 volt, and the direction of flow of electron will be from magnesium half cell to zinc half cell. I hope you would have enjoyed this lecture. Thank you for your time. Bye bye.